Disclaimer. We are two regular guys who love to talk Bone Thugs and Harmony. We do not represent Bone Thugs or any Bone affiliate. We are also not Bone Thugs experts. The views and information you hear in this podcast may be based on personal opinion. Please feel free to leave corrections and clarifying information in the comments. And enjoy. In this episode, we experienced technical difficulties out of our control. Please excuse any latency, chopping, or moments of silence. We apologize to the Beyond the Harmony fanbase and strive to make corrections to prevent this in the future. What's up, y'all? Beyond the Harmony, beyondtheharmony.com. I am Cecil West, back again with the one and only
Johnny boy with the flu, Lippy.
And this is the sickest Bone Thugs podcast on YouTube. This is Beyond the Harmony, back with you. It's Thug Thursday, season 2, back, and it's been a great jump off, and here we are with such a big one. We're really coming out swinging on season 2, Johnny.
Yeah, and hey, happy New Year to you, Cecil West. Happy New Year, 2019. Yeah. Here we are, because I think the Cairo one was in 2018. So happy New Year, 2019, season 2's first 2019 episode of our recordings. That is.
Yeah, we premiered the other one in 2019, but this is the first actual 2019 recording. We are running up on almost 12 months of Beyond the Harmony. Almost 12 months. It's like, it feels like longer than that and less than that at the same time.
Right. Yeah, both. Yeah. I agree. And just to let you know, I shipped you that little package this morning. This is the first time I've been able to actually verbally speak with Cecil West. I have not been able to speak for the past 8 days. I've been severely ill with the flu, but I could not miss this interview tonight. So that's why Johnny Boy sucked it up to be here with the one and only Cecil West. And you got a package coming, and I didn't put any BS in your package. You're getting exactly what you wanted.
Oh, shit. No extras. We that in that package, guys, just so you know, if it's not out by the time you hear this, what is coming to us is the 2,000 subscriber giveaway. So that's going to be real cool when that drops. It's been a great season 2. It's been very successful. The channel is evolving. We have a new junior correspondent here on the Beyond the Harmony network. Shout out to Ty Wise. So we're doing big things, man. We dropped that Creeping on a Come Up 10-track theory, and that did huge things. The most successful video on our channel. I mean, by far, it was crazy. I don't know what was going on. I don't know if any of our regular fans were paying attention, but there was a massive spike in Beyond the Harmony. So welcome to all the brand new subscribers over here.
Yeah, I wonder if like YouTube was doing a Christmas treat for anybody that dropped the video on Christmas. So that was our treat to the fans, and YouTube treated us by just bringing in the traffic. I think it set records on every single metric that can be possibly measured. So it was a fun time watching the evolution of it, and there were like multiple peaks. And we didn't know what was going on there, but that was cool.
was really cool. You know, and we did that, and then we dropped like Ty Wise and his Facts Don't Lie segment like the next day, I think, or some shit. And you know, that was great as well. You know, for him to come in. So there was quite a few days. Things kind of seem to even back out a little bit now, John. But we have a ton of new subscribers as of the recording. We're sitting at almost 2,200, 2,192. I'm sure by the time you guys are hearing this, we're going to be well over that, hopefully. And yeah, it's we're off to a good start, and they have no idea, John. You know, Cecil West has been working hard to line up some really solid quality interviews. And don't forget, we have a fucking new segment that we're going to start doing. I know y'all love Thug Thursday, but everybody loved the live. So probably once a month, you guys are going to get Thug Tuesday live.
And the weeks we do Thug Tuesday live, there won't be a Thug Thursday
Right.
interview, just so that's known. And
But the
I mean,
good
who
news
knows
is,
how?
though, I'm going to do a lot with Thug Tuesday Live, though, guys. Like, I mean, just because there's no Thug Thursday Live interview doesn't mean there won't be a Thug Tuesday interview if there's no Thug Thursday. So we're looking to bring some guests on. It's going to be a real exciting time for you guys to be Beyond the Harmony subscribers.
Yeah, and just I know some people are curious. Are they going to go 3.5 hours like the first one? I don't know. I mean, my intention is not to, but if it's going so good like that first live one that we had going, it may go 3.5 hours. But I think, what are we saying? Like a 2-hour show, kind of like Thug Thursday, but since it's live, it's like a double because there won't be a.
Yeah, you know, some Thug Thursdays are longer. We did like 3 hours with Nitty. You know, we did 9 hours with Romeo. Let Romeo know, by the way, you guys. I know there's going to be a lot of GYS fans listening. Go to Romeo's social media. Say, Romeo, we want to hear the rest of your Beyond the Harmony interview. Let him know you want to hear the other 8 hours. But we've done a lot of interviews. Some are 2 hours, some are 9 hours. Hopefully, though, Thug Tuesdays live will be about 2 hours, but we'll see. It's going to depend. I mean, if we got a guest on and things are going
Yeah.
really good with the fans and the guests, this is going to be a great opportunity because John and I take your questions and we try to put a lot of them in the interviews that we do. But this is going to be an opportunity for you guys to actually call in and speak with these, you know, just these different guests that we have. And I think that's going to be such a great just opportunity for the Beyond the Harmony listeners. So you guys are going to have to be looking out for the Thug Tuesdays, the brand new Facts Don't Lie with Ty Wise. And we got some other segments that are going to drop too. I'm really proud of the almost 12-month evolution of Beyond the Harmony into the Beyond the Harmony network.
Yeah, and something funny that happened this week. It'll be old news by the time you guys hear it, but you did the 1,500 subscriber giveaway.
Yeah.
And in 1985, Gemini won again.
Yes.
Repeated. Some Michael Jordan type stuff right there.
So
believe us, we're not cheating for her. She just
oh
keeps
yeah.
winning.
So a couple people said that actually, like, you know, that it was rigged and shit. And I'm like, hey, look, I do the video, you know, for you guys. I want people to see how it's done. There's nothing in it for me and John for 1985 Gemini to win as much as she has. Like, there's nothing in it for me and John really, except for losses. Just so everybody knows, if it's not donated, like Bone Thugs and L donated the poster, but if it's not donated by somebody to the channel, John and I put the bread up to buy, you know, what we send out. A great example is the 1,000 subscriber giveaway, the Harmony House chain. I purchased that with my own bread, just to give away. So not only did I have to buy it, pay to ship it here, I pay to ship it to the winner. So there's nothing in it for me and John except we love to give to you guys because you guys are awesome. 1985 Gemini just happens to be one lucky girl. I think it's cool. I like that. You know, a loyal listener keeps winning. She's been
Yeah.
here since the beginning. There's other people that have won that, like for instance, who the guy we were just talking about. I can't even remember his name. I've
Jav,
tried to get a
aka
picture of him. He, Je,
Javaka, Jav, aka Thug Bone, Tupac Bone, or something.
yeah,
JAV are the first letters, I think. Javaka Bone.
yeah.
He
On
posts all the time.
Instagram, it's Tupac Walton and Instagram thing. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he won that, but like the person that won the 1,000, and I believe the person that won the 500, I don't know if they were regular Beyond the Harmony subscribers. I don't see them. I haven't been able to get a picture of the guy that, I wanted to get the guy that won the chain, a picture of him with the chain, and I haven't been able to get that. So it just goes to show you some regular everyday subscribers win, some I just popped up and got lucky subscribers win. So it takes
It
advantage though.
it was one winner that we couldn't find. Did we ever find that winner?
No, that was for the Faces of Death at 500. We ended up re-picking, and we almost didn't get that one either. And that person, and lucky, we almost did a third Faces of Death pick. Also, if you guys are listening to this, I've had some people reach out to me for copies of Faces of Death. I've just been away with business, but I am gonna reach back. I know some people that are interested in purchasing them from me from my surplus. I'm going to sell a bunch of them off. So I will reach back out to you guys. And if you are interested in owning your own copy of Faces of Death, the original, 1995 print, or one of the remasters, I have some of those as well, the 96 print, you can reach out to me at beyondtheharmony99@gmail.com, and let's talk shop about sending one home to you. So, but if you have already sent me an email about that, a few of you have, I will be reaching back out to you soon. Faces of Death, John. I know everybody thinks that, season 1 was all Faces of Death and the saga's over, but I am going to touch on Faces of Death a couple more times this season. Tonight, though, is not Faces of Death. Tonight, we are interviewing Sin of the Graveyard Shift. And this is one that the fans have been fucking waiting for. They've been asking us for. They wanted Graveyard Shift. We were able to touch on it a little bit with that first hour with Romeo, but the fans have been begging for it. And tonight we have Sin. He's going to be calling in anytime now.
Yeah, and we thought we were going to get Sin, I think, before, and so I went back and I listened to all those the Valtiel interview that he did with Sin. I guess it was like in 2010, maybe it was 2008. It was a really informative interview. I enjoyed listening to it a lot. I think I drove cross state listening to it. Learned a lot from it. Also got a good feel for Sin. Really good guy. And I just think it's cool that we kind of have a history with Val. I didn't even realize Valtiel did the interview with Graveyard Shift. That's the funniest thing, is that finding out it was him later on. I'm like, geez, oh my God, okay. Well, in Cecil's other life, he's worked with Valtiel on some projects, so it was really neat
I don't think he was trying to put it out that it was him.
Oh.
I think that's why he did it under the thing. But I think people know now. It's been like, that was so long ago, and I don't think so I think I'm saying at the time, like,
I read it in the comments, by the way.
yeah, no, at the time he did it as like Graveyard Soldier, and I think it's because he wasn't trying to link the two of them together like that. But yeah, no, he had a phenomenal interview with Sin years back. There was also a video interview with Sin in like 2010 that gave us a good update. Of course, we know about the interview that he did with Mohart and Soldier Boy, but we haven't heard from him in a long time. And I'm gonna tell you, John, we do these interviews more complete. A lot of these guys deserve to have their story told the way we tell it. It's not a knock at anybody else. It's the people that we have, but we do something special. And I feel like Sin and Graveyard Shift and T-Rock, they deserve to have the story told to be on the Harmony way. So I'm excited that we're doing that.
Yeah, same here. And just real quick, I listened to like the entire Graveyard Shift collection last night, and I don't know what it is, if I have new headphones or if it was just remastered versions. The music sounded better than it ever had before. So if you haven't heard
Well,
Graveyard Shift's collection in a while, listen to it. It was mind blowing how good it was, for me at least. But I have a flu, so maybe the
with
flu influenced how great it sounded.
with that said, I think we may have Sin. Let's take a look here. With us?
Yeah. What's up, buddy?
All right, there he is. Sin, hey, we want to thank you for being a guest with us here tonight. This is something we were just saying. Our fans are. This is the most excited I've seen them in a long time. Is to have you on the show with us. So we appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
So I think what we'll do with you is, the fans really know like the easy stuff, the same kind of stuff that you guys get talked about all the time. So what I'm going to do is we're going to touch on a little bit of the early stuff, and then I think we're going to jump into some questions that I feel like that you're not normally asked. So first, just to get it out of the way, so we can kind of set the foundation for the listeners. So were you born and raised in Cleveland, or what are the roots of Sin?
Yeah, born and raised in Cleveland, Cleveland, Ohio.
As far as like linking up with like Bone, because you were born and raised there, I mean, is this a situation where you grew up with them, or how old were you when you first linked up with Bone?
We went to the same schools, to the same junior high. I started really becoming familiar with all of them from like junior high school, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, FDR Junior High School, and they had a group called the Band-Aid Boys, and they would perform at like the gong shows, and got familiar with them then. But I really didn't link up with them, or like I guess you could say, get a closer relationship with them until the summer T-Bone got out of jail.
You had said the summer that who got
Krayzie Bone got out of jail. He was in jail for, he accidentally shot Wishbone in the leg, and he did some time with a shotgun.
All right, Sin. Can you hear me? This is Jonathan.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So Cecil's going to probably call back in, but we just wanted to know a little bit about Krayzie getting out of jail, and then basically that time period. I mean, can you was it 93, 92? Were you there? I know you were saying that you saw the Band-Aid Boys and the whole beginnings of it, but were you kind of like rapping at that time as well?
No, I wasn't rapping. I wasn't rapping at that time. I didn't really start rapping until, like I said, he got out of jail, and this apartment that was, it sat on top of a storefront where where everybody, I guess, we hustled at and everything, and so it was kind of like the spot. And so when he got out, he moved into that apartment, and he was quiet. He didn't really, talk to a lot of people. But then the rest of them would show up, like BIZZY and Lazy, and they would write raps, just a cappella, and they would recite rhymes, and that's when I kind of got like hooked, I guess. That's when I got kind of like, I was like, damn, that was, this is kind of dope. So, that's when I started, I guess. And I was probably about, 16, 17, maybe 8. He just got out of jail, so he was definitely, he was an adult. So he was probably about 18, 19. He was probably about Yeah, so I don't know what year that was though.
'Cause we're always trying to like pinpoint some of these like the origins of Bone Enterprise and just some of the early stories there. So yeah, we're just wondering like a ballpark. I mean, it was before '93, you'd say?
Okay, so they came out with E.1999 Eternal in '99.
It was like '95, around '95.
Yeah, it would
That
have
was
been
around
95.
95. That'd have been
Yeah.
95. Oh yeah, so yeah, this was years before like Thuggish Ruggish Bone when he got out and I met him, Krayzie Bone. This would have been years, like maybe 3-4 years before they even left and went to like LA or whatever.
Now, were you doing any music back at that point, Sin, like when they were like Bone Enterprise, or did you not start doing things until like Graveyard Shift?
Yeah, I didn't really start doing things. I didn't like I was doing knucklehead stuff in the streets, and I didn't really get interested. Like, I'm not gonna front. I'm not the guy that was writing raps ever since I was 6, and I have this extensive music inspiration from listening to old records and stuff like that. It really came about when as far as I can remember is when this summer he got out of jail. And we would drink and smoke, and when we got high, they would rap and just fool around. And this was every day. They was writing raps every day, smoking, drinking with a notepad. And I thought that was some cool shit. And so I wanted to do it. But I really wasn't really good at it. I was writing at home, sneaking, right. I would never bring my notepad to the smoke session and recite my shit. That was out. I would write at home but it was garbage. So I just watched them dudes for a long time. And then when they blew.
I was gonna say, do you remember the first time that you decided that you were gonna, rap for these guys and let them know that you were interested in this? Do you remember like when that moment was?
We would play around. I guess okay. So we was in a car at one point all together, and they was like, "You got to think of a rap name." Like so, at that point, I felt like I was actually accepted as a rapper.
Yeah.
I was like, oh wow, I gotta think of a name. So that's when I really started taking it serious. And again, this was around the summer he got out, and that's all they did every day. Write rhymes, and it was professionals at it at that time. Like I say, we was probably like 17. We were all around the same age, so they was around about 17, 18, 16, 17, 18, around that. No more, give or take,
Around the time that they were doing Bone Enterprise, or was this even like, well before Bone Enterprise?
Oh, this was after Bone Enterprise. This was after Bone Enterprise, yeah. This was
So
because I didn't really know. I wasn't really hanging around them during the Bone Enterprise days.
okay, gotcha. Yeah, the Bone Enterprise days are pretty different. I don't know if you've ever had a chance to, like listen to that record, but I mean, we always talk about like how different Bone Enterprise is than Bone Thug, even though there wasn't a lot of time between them, being Bone Enterprise and becoming Bone Thug. They released one in '93, one in '94. The sound changed so much though in that period. It sounded like it was a lot of time. Do you kind of remember them maturing that sound and really bringing those harmonies in that we all know now?
Yeah, BIZZY stood out the most as the more singy, songy, melodic, he would sing, and he could really sing. And so, and Krayzie, he would do harmonies. I think the song that really was the crossover for them into that harmony kind of was that song Gangsta Harmony. It was an acapella, and don't ask me to recite it. But they incorporated. I think they did it on one of the albums. They did this song. It was an acapella, and that's when they, to me, is when they really crossed over into the harmonizing kind of style. I mean, they had it a little bit in the Bone Enterprise era, but it was more street. It was more style was more of that time period during that time. They really evolved into something totally different. Yeah, once Krayzie got
so then
out,
I think we were just headed to the same place. I was going to say, so let's set for the fans then, because you're like an original Mo Thug. Like, and what I mean by that is, you guys were on Eternal, before that was even like a real thought for us as fans that there was a Mo Thugs record. So can you kind of help set the stage for what set that up? They're now signed, they're with Ruthless, they're, Eternal is being worked on, Creeping on a Come Out's been up. Like, what set the stage for you guys to, I guess, become Graveyard Shift and then take that flight? You guys took that trip out to LA to do those recordings.
I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like, they knew they was gonna make it. They knew they was gonna make. They had everything all planned out. Like, they was like, we gonna make it, and then we gonna put everybody else on. We gonna put all y'all on. All y'all gonna rap. We gonna do this. We gonna do that. They had it all what they wanted to do.
Wow.
So once they blew, once they went out there, they took that leap of faith, and boom. Eazy, they were signed, everything was going good, they were doing songs. And then Krayzie would call me play songs. When they was recording Thuggy Rogers Born, he's like, tell me how this sound. Because that's how it was. You get in a circle and you recite something out the notebook and you're like, how this sound? You wanted the feedback from the circle. And he would play songs that they was working on with Eazy through the phone. And this was back in the day. This was, we didn't even have cordless phones. We had the coil cord, the slinky cord.
That's awesome.
He would play, I just told how, really how much of a dinosaur I am, but he would play songs. How this sound. And I was shocked when I heard Thuggy Rogers Born was like the single, it was on the radio and stuff. I was like, damn, he played that. Like, damn. So he would always call and say stuff. He's like, man, y'all don't got to worry about nothing. It's going down. We about to be rich. We about to come up with a group. Y'all need to start. He's like, you still been writing? I was like, yeah, a little bit. And I was in the streets. I was in the streets. I was, selling drugs. Just doing dumb stuff.
Yeah.
And I had got locked up. I had got sent to jail. And he was still writing me in jail. He's like, when you get out of jail, it's going down, don't worry about nothing. He was sending me pictures. He's like, we doing good. And so when I got out, when I get out to like a year, and this is like probably like 2 years after they blew. It was on their second joint. Because the second joint came out. I was locked up when the second joint came out. I was like, damn, these boys really doing it. That's when I guess I really started taking the rap shit really serious. I was in jail writing like crazy. I was in jail writing stupid. And when I got out, we started hitting the studio for like the first time. I've never been in the studio. I've been in the studio with them, watching them. When I finished doing my little time and I got out, and T-Rock and Tombstone, his name was T-Rock, in the streets, and the boy, 101. 101 was far advanced, like he was far advanced lyrically, like he was doing this shit like for a long ass time. And he was like, come on man, we need to get together. We need to, get this shit together because these boys coming back. So that's when we really started. We came up with the Graveyard Shift, came up with, we already had our names pretty much. But we said, okay, we're going to call ourselves the Graveyard Shift. And
How early on did you guys think about the name Still Waters for the album?
It was it kind of came about like on the fly while we was, I guess you could say we freestyled that name, during the time we was recording. We was really at peace, I guess, to really explain that title. We was in a place where we felt like all the attention was on us. We was doing our album. We had the big budget, and we was going to the studio, and it was in a real cool place. We felt like we felt in control of everything, and we felt at peace. So everything was calm. It wasn't like in the streets everything was choppy and you didn't know what was going. The streets was chaotic. Whereas this, something positive. We was doing something productive. We was living our dream. We was like, yeah, we here. That would inspire that title, Still Waters.
So I just want to take a step back. We were talking about you guys and that initial how GYS came together, the trip out to LA. For you guys, for us as fans, I would say this is true. And I'm just curious if you feel the same way. Is like SHOTZ to the Double GLOCK, I mean, do you think that's considered like the first like real Mo Thug song?
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, all
Yeah.
that together for the first time in a legitimate studio, not like somebody's house. You know what I'm saying? Not shit on the house studios. I still love them too, the closet, for the microphone. Yeah. But this was the first legitimate, real-time big boy studio. Mix and master, crispy, everything, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would consider that, yeah.
Did you guys fly out? Is that how you guys all got out there? Did you guys fly out?
We flew, yeah. Got on the plane.
Yeah. That must have been just a crazy experience for you guys, just getting the call that you guys were going out to do that and jumping on that plane. Did you guys all fly out on the same plane?
Yeah, we flew out together. Yeah, we was mad excited, like, because we was together every day. And so when they flew out, we wasn't seeing them all like that. So it was like a big reunion. It was like, yeah, we all gonna be together, like, like we on the block again. But it's, this is a different type of block, And
yeah.
We just couldn't wait to get our stuff. We was back then. We was drinking 40s. That's when blunts really first came out. We was smoking blunts and drinking 40s. And it was a party. It was exciting.
How long were you guys out there during that time?
For a couple months.
Wow.
For about 2 months, we was out there. just enjoying the scenery and just taking it all in for a little while. They was doing a lot of recording a lot of music, so they was working a lot in the studio. And so we would just go and just watch them, and they was doing a lot of work, a lot of, promotional work. So they was really very busy. We was just there for the ride for the most part, and then we finally recorded the song, "Shots to the Glock."
Did you guys record any other songs while you were out there, or was it just Shots to the Double Glock you did?
Yeah, just the shots. Yeah, we just did the one, and we did it at the tail end of, after they got most of the album was done already.
Oh, so that came like at the end, Shots to the Double Glock?
Yeah, it came in after the end of, after the majority of that album was, they was on the last leg of completing that album, and then, wow.
So if you guys were out there at the end, I know Eazy-E was around for the beginning of them recording Eternal, and of course he got, sick and was in the hospital by them recording at the end. Did you get a chance to meet Eazy, or was he already like in the hospital by the time you guys went out?
Yeah, we met Eazy at Ruthless office. I met him personally in the restroom at Ruthless for the first time. I was in there throwing up from like the night before I got smashed, and I was in the bathroom just. And he came in there, and I think he said like something like, "Oh yeah, you overdid it, huh?" Or something like that, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm sweating, and like the Walking Dead, and so. That was the first time I saw him, little guy, little short guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I always try to ask who got that opportunity just, to meet with him, which was, a limited list, of course. I mean, by the time like, Mo Thugs was completely up and running, he had, passed or was very sick by that time. So that's pretty crazy that you got the opportunity while you were out there to meet him. I know you said Shots of the Double Glock was the only song that you guys got a chance to do when you were out there. You're about to answer a huge question. This is going to clear up a misconception that's been on the internet for years and years. So a lot of fans, and I believe I showed you this, a lot of fans believe that like Mo Hart is on Shots of the Double Glock, but we did an interview with him, and he revealed not only was he not on the song, but he was actually in jail at the time, and he wasn't even a poetic hustler yet. So a lot of fans incorrectly put Mo Hart in there. I even believe that Gates is incorrectly listed on that song. So once and for all, can you clear up and let the fans know who is on Shots of the Double Glock and the lineup that's actually on that track?
So basically, the Graveyard Shift and the Poetic Hustlers, but they wasn't called the Poetic Hustlers at that time. But it was Boog, Boogie Night, Tony Tone, D-Lo, and then Graveyard Shift, it was me, Tombstone, 101, and then it was Bone. That's for Bizzy.
Yeah. See, so that's a big difference for the fans, because I think a lot of fans don't realize that that's actually such an early GYS recording, that 101 is on there, and that's not Gates. So that's huge. And then you also listed another member that I don't think anybody's ever spoke about that you said was a poetic hustler. Who was that?
D-Lo.
Yeah, I don't think even in our interview with Mo Hart, I don't think that that came up. I know that was before that he was in there, but yeah, we didn't even know that he was in there. So that's huge for the fans. You guys finally know who was on Shots of the Double Glock. So you guys spend a couple months out there, and then you go back to Cleveland. At this point, you must know. You said the guys kind of knew they were gonna do, Mo Thugs no matter what. Do you remember where you were when it was like official, like that you got the call, like, okay, this is really going to happen, and you guys started to transition into what became, you know, Mo Thug Records. I assume you were already back in Cleveland for that.
Yeah, we was back in Cleveland. Things got a little quiet for a minute because they was going crazy with them for a second. And then it was all kind of back in Cleveland, everybody doing their thing. And Krayzie bought a studio. When they bought a house, they was turning it into a studio in the neighborhood, and we called a meeting. We wanted everybody to call a meeting, and we were going to talk about everything, you know, the future, everything, you know, you got planned. And so we all meet up at the house. It was on 61st, 66, East 66 in St. Clair, something like that. Not too far from 99th Street. And so yeah, that's when we kind of made it official. Gonna do Mo Thug, Relativity Records, you know, the whole thing was coming in, and had to see some contracts, get signing bonus, and everything. You know, just at that point, it was kind of solidified. We was happy, we was excited, we was ecstatic. And,
of course, yeah.
You know what to do. We was like, oh my God, we finally here, we made it.
Something I've heard you talk about previously is that you had said that a lot of the Mo Thugs, by the time you guys, I believe this was in LA, by the time you guys got out there, you were all living in the same apartment building, and it was being paid for by Relativity. Did you and Tombstone live together, or did you live solo? Did you live with any other Mo Thugs? Like, I think it's crazy that you guys were all living in this building together.
Yeah. So Relativity, they got a couple of, they found a high-rise building that was not too far from the studio, and they they bought out they got a couple apartments. We attended for like each group, and then whatever, like security. We had security. At that time we didn't have like real legitimate driver's license, so we had to have people drive, and so yeah, like the security had their own, like the assistants or whatever, the security that made up like security, drivers or whatever. They had their own apartment.
So
we had our own apartment. The Hustlers, but it wasn't all at the same time. It was like Too True went out and recorded, and then once they left, then, you know, so we kind of did it like that. We just took turns. Or the Hustlers went in there, and then we went in there, yeah, like that.
So when you got
apartment,
when you guys would like leave that,
we just swapped it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when you guys would leave that apartment, like when you guys were no longer living there, like when you said Too True was there when they were recording or whatever, after that, were they still in LA, or were you guys like going back to Cleveland, like back and forth between Cleveland?
We was going back and forth, but we stayed out in LA for long, extended periods of time because there was just so much going on. We were super busy with a lot of Mo Thug stuff, and Private Island Tracks was like the main studio we was working out of, and also we was working on compilation stuff, you know. So we was doing a lot of work. So we was back and forth. Sometimes we would go home. You get bored. You get, you know, I guess a little agitated. You want to go home. So it was a lot of that. You go home sometimes, take a break, and then come back, stuff like that, you know. But for the most part, we was out in LA doing a lot of recording, a lot of Mo Thug stuff, a lot of group exclusive stuff.
Is that all stuff that's come out?
Say it again.
Has like all that stuff you're talking about there, has all that material come out, or is it just still unreleased stuff, or is it like promo things that you did for the radio?
Yeah, a little bit of both. Some of the stuff, a majority of it has been released. A portion of it is probably unreleased. Never heard stuff. Yeah.
So every day would you guys would just like, I mean, did you daily have to be somewhere? So like Monday through Friday, would you all have to wake up at a certain time and appear at a studio, or like how did it work daily for you guys?
Studio every day. Studio every day, dated from the morning to the night. Sometimes from the morning to the next morning. Like these dudes, they worked at the they lived in the studio. They lived in there. They just basically lived in there. The studios, you can live in there. There's kitchens and stuff in there. There's plenty of places to crash. Like it's easy to, you know, refrigerators. And, you know, you can order food, so you never really have to leave the studio. And Krayzie never left. He was always in there.
Yeah.
He would have his kids in there. He just was in there. He'd be in there with some flip-flops and some, like he just woke up and, you know. And so we was there. A lot of times we wasn't doing a lot of work, but we was just there. We just had to be there. You know, we was like, okay, we're going to the studio, and we was just, you know, studio was the spot. We just hang out, drinking, eating, smoking, recording.
So at this time, Sin, you know, and when we all, for our listeners, of course, when we're talking about Mo Thug and we talk about Bones' involvement with you guys during Mo Thug, you know, Mo Thug 1 and Mo Thug 2, one thing that's always noted by fans is Bizzy Bone is very distant, you know, from Mo Thug, of course, in the albums, the visuals. We saw him cross over very few times. One of the times was in the Poetic Hustlers video. You know, was there ever talk like of Bizzy doing stuff with Mo Thugs or GYS? And what was your understanding why he was so disconnected? Because he seemed at the beginning, I mean, Bizzy was always the original one, you know, that I can think of shouting out Mo Thug and with the tattoo. So you'd feel like he was going to be really into it, but he was very distant at that time.
My overall take on him choosing to do the whole like 7 sign and all that was he had like his little clique of dudes, you know what I'm saying, his people who he told, like, you know, when I make it, everybody, you know, everybody on. So he had his little clique of little dudes that wasn't really affiliated with us, or, you know, we wasn't really acquainted with them. So I guess he felt like he wanted to go off and start his little version of with 7 signs.
Yeah.
That's just a speculative. That's just, you know, a hypothesis. You know,
yeah.
That's something that I would, you know, I figured. I mean, no one's ever asked me that question. I never even had to think about it until right now. But my take would be, he had his own little clique. He had his own little camp, and I think he wanted to do something. You know, as far as doing music with us, that's a very good question. That would be something you probably have to ask him, why he never appeared on any Graveyard Shift, any Poetic Hustler, you know.
Yeah, it would have been interesting, you know, to hear because of course all the Bones, I mean, all you guys in Mo Thugs all had such unique styles, that they all complement each other so well. It would have been interesting to hear, Bizzy and you guys. Speaking of the styles, and we were talking about you guys recording in the studio, every day. When we listen to that first Mo Thugs album, something that I kind of feel, and this is what's kind of bring us into Stillwaters, is I feel like Graveyard Shift, might have changed a little bit, and more than just Gates being out of it. I felt like the style changed a little bit. Was that just natural evolution of Graveyard Shift? Or, I mean, did you guys, when you went into Stillwaters, really want to, I guess, enhance? Because Stillwaters, I mean, you guys really stepped the game up. I mean, Tombstone was more militant, than ever. It really felt like the style was evolved a lot.
I think for the most part, creative influence. I mean, you can't help. It's contagious. So you can't help. You can't be around that kind of creativity and musical genius and not have some residual effect and influence in your own. It's like if you sitting around watching Picasso paint every day, all day, your paintings, you're going to actually have to kind of struggle to not do a Picasso. You're going to have to try to find your own. It's going to be a struggle to find your own identity. So
yeah,
we realized how much we was being influenced by the Bone style. We was doing a lot of our beats, so we tried to create an identity, and we knew it was going to be impossible. But as much as possible, try to create an identity outside of the Bone Thug harmony range of influence, and it was just impossible because it just grabs you. Because I was doing a lot of harmonizing early on. It just sounded good. It just sounded so good to mix it in. It was just a style that they, and I don't have no problem sounding like that. I feel like they created a particular thing, and they were the originators of that particular style, and so they kind of made a name, I would say, in the Midwest for that
yeah.
For that kind of style. And just like if you listen to all New York dudes, they all got that same kind of rhythm and flow. If you listen to Southern dudes, they all got that same kind of rhythm and flow. So I don't think it's inappropriate to have some of their influence in some of our music, although we did try our best to kind of come up with an idea, try to be ourselves.
Yeah.
Reflected in the music we was making, that kind of struggle.
So that was a conscious attempt on your part, and I guess we're asking because last night we were listening to all your guys' songs, and we noticed that there's a stark difference between the way you guys sounded on Family Scriptures versus the way you sound on Still Waters. It's like night and day. They're both good. It's almost like completely different, energies, I guess you'd say. And so you're saying you guys consciously worked on that?
Well, we made a conscious decision to say, let's not do a lot of the harmonizing. Let's try to come original as much as possible, which you know, the Tombstone's right. He said there's nothing wrong with sounding like them because they are us and we are them. We boys. Like we share potato chips and, cupcakes and, you know what I mean? We blunt, cigarettes. Mm. So we drank out the same beer bottle. So we didn't really see a problem with sounding like them, but we wanted to try to find a way to stand outside of them because Too True had a definite identity. For the Hustler, they did a little harmony, but they definitely established an identity. So we said, look, we need to establish identity too. So and it gave like these different temperatures as far as having some of the songs sounding original like us, some of the songs a little harmonizing and melodic like their style, and a fusion of both. So, I wouldn't say it was conscious. I would just say that it was a consequence of our mentality. Like, okay, we need to from up under this, umbrella, try to do something different. And so I guess that's where.
I was going to say, I think by Stillwater's, it was a very, mature Graveyard Shift sound. I mean, you guys were so early on in the first Mo Thugs, that it's hard to even know what quote unquote is. I always think that it's dope that the Mo Thugs album, like you're saying, had that Bone feel, but because you guys were not Bone, meaning that, you guys don't sound, none of you sound like the five of them, you guys all sound like yourselves. It was like unique, all the beats and just the way you guys all came. The first one is so classic because of that sound and that, that feeling that you guys had. But definitely by Stillwater's, you guys were a more mature sound. As far as Graveyard Shift, can you just take us through the full lineup? We talked about 101 a little bit, but can you bring us through the full lineup and the changes from beginning to end?
So in the beginning, it was me, Tombstone, and 101. And then added Boo, the caretaker, who was shot. Never actually recorded. We never actually recorded with any songs with him, so it's not going to be anything. You're not going to find any.
You were breaking up just a little bit, Sin. You were saying that you guys never recorded any songs with, was it Boo that you guys never recorded?
Right. He was an add-on. He was a later add-on. He had a lot of talent. He was raw. He was street. But we never got a chance to get in the studio and do anything. He was unfortunately he was shot. He was killed.
Now he wasn't replacing 101, right? Like, was he in addition? Was it a 4-person group at that time?
Yeah, it was a 4-person group. He just fit in. His style. He just fit in with the kind of, we kind of wanted to do kind of like a darker. We wanted to be. We knew we couldn't keep up with them boys' speed. It was just too fast. So it was like, all right, so if we're going to be slow, we got to, put some kind of energy into it. And so Boo, he came in and he fit right into the beats. We had like beats and stuff we would play in the car and just mess around. And he just jumped right in. He just got right on it. And we was like, yeah, we can use a 4th. but yeah, he lost his life. So it was just the three of us for a while. And then actually during the first MOTA meeting, 101 decided he didn't like what was going on, what was being said. He had some questions, and he didn't like the situation. So he chose to depart at that time, at that meeting. So it was just me and Tombstone for a while.
Wow. So 101 took the trip out to LA with you guys, and everything was good. You guys are ready to establish Mo Thug, and he just didn't like what he was hearing. Was it in terms of just like contracts and what you guys were going to get? I mean, sounds like 101 might have almost seen the writing on the wall before it kind of happened.
Yeah, he did. He didn't want to sign. He didn't want to sign with Mo Thug. He didn't want to sign with them at all.
Wow.
He wanted the Graveyard Shift to be its own entity, or whatever. He was against signing because in terms of the contract wasn't even like it discussed at this meeting. It was just a overview of like, yeah, it's going down. We finna do Mo Thug. All y'all here gonna be Mo Thug. We finna, it was just basically a briefing. Like these are the plans. We finna start hitting the studio. We finna do this, da da da. And we're gonna get contracts out. Everybody gonna sign. And 101 wasn't with it. He wasn't with that. Man, he didn't want to do it. But me and Tombstone wanted to do it. So that caused a little bit of a rift and a little bit of animosity. But,
so 101 walks away then from the situation. Do you know if at that point when it became just you, before Gates came in, of course, when it was just you and T-Rock, did 101 walk away from music? Did he stay doing anything, or was that the end for him as far as anything like that?
Yeah, he stayed doing music. He was affiliated with some southern. He had some connections down south with some pretty prominent names. So he was trying to do some things. He's not the kind of guy. He don't like taking orders. He don't like, he just didn't like it. He just didn't like, I guess, the idea of lazy, like this, being the boss. Like,
Yeah.
That's always been 101 though. You're not going to tell him what to do. He don't like being told what to do and laid out no plans for him. So he's a rebel, and we understood that if we decided to go forward with Mo Thug, that it was going to cause some problems.
Wow. Do you remember the last time that you had contact? Do you still have contact with 101, or do you remember the contact with him?
Yeah, after that incident, we would kind of stay in contact here and there. it was no real big issue. No big issue. Like I said, he was doing his own thing. I mean, he was happy, and but I still think, you know, he, in the back of his mind, he felt like we should have never signed, and we should have never went that way.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. So 101 walks away. It's you and T-Rock for a while, and then at what point does Gates come in? I assume that it had to be, you know, right before or even during the recording of the first Mo Thug album. And something I think fans are often incorrect about is, I mean, Gates's time, I don't believe, was very long with Graveyard Shift, right? It seems like it was just during the first Mo Thug record.
Right, he came right in. We had a meeting at like an office or something, and they was like, yeah, we getting ready to go in and start recording for the Mo Thug compilation. We had been talking about the compilation for a long time. We didn't even think it was going to jump off, but it finally came. You know, he's like, yeah, it's going to go down. And so it was like, Graveyard Shift, y'all need another member. What y'all going to do? Tombstone, Gates is actually Tombstone's cousin. They blood cousin.
Oh shit.
He was a rapper, yeah. So he was doing some stuff on his own, like rapping or whatever. And yeah, that's how he got in. That was Tombstone. Him and Tombstone was related. So got him in real quick, and then that's when we went out to L.A. Signed the paperwork and everything, and started recording.
Now, I remember an interview that you did with Graveyard Soldier that you guys had talked about. You guys recorded the songs, but Gates didn't want to sign the paperwork. Can you just kind of tell us about what happened with Gates and you know, his departure from Graveyard Shift?
He didn't want to sign the contracts. He didn't want. I'll be honest. We didn't have legal representation. So in the nature, the nature of how we signed the contracts set them off, because we didn't have an attorney. We would have to pay an attorney. It just would have slowed the process. That they needed the contracts like signed, like right now, like tomorrow. Like if y'all want to be a part of this, shit. We need these signed. Y'all don't have no time to get no lawyers and none of that. We signed those contracts. Gates, he didn't want to sign them.
Was it for the same type of reasons as 101? Was it the same stuff, or was it kind of a different reason he didn't want to sign them?
I think his main deal was wait a minute, you know what? Back up a little bit. He didn't want to be a part of Mo Thug, period. Like Gates at that time he had really very strong religious views. Like he was a Jehovah's Witness.
Okay.
And he was really a devout Jehovah's Witness. So he's not even supposed to be rapping. So he was struggling with that. He was struggling between his spiritual beliefs and, you know, because he would say things like, you know, music is from, you know, the devil. The devil was a musician, and, you know, he would say things like that.
Wow.
He was really going through it. He was really going through it. So yeah, you know, now that I'm thinking about, you know, you just triggered a cascade of shit with that question. Now that I'm thinking, so it was more than just the business part of it, because he was long gone we had recorded, the album was done, it was time to sign. He was long gone. He had left. He wanted out.
Yeah.
You know.
And he had recorded, of course, for the first Mo Thug record with you guys, and then it got out. Did you ever hear from him after like that record came out? He hurt himself on that record. Did he ever like want to come back in, or once he was out, did he never want to get back in?
Once he was out, Gates was wearing suits. He was going door to door.
Wow.
He was a Jehovah. He was into his religion, really strong. And I would see him, periodically. And he was cool. He was cool about, he didn't. He was on God. That was all he cared about, and that was his main reason.
Do you remember the last time you might have had contact with Gates? Has it been a while since you had any contact with him?
It's been a while.
A
while. I've been out of the neighborhood for quite some time, for quite some years. So that would be the only time that I would see him. When I was down in the neighborhood, I would see him driving by. And I would, live down there. But I haven't lived down there in a while, so I don't see a lot of, older people from the neighborhood that much. But me and Gates, we cool. We still got a cool relationship. I mean, I understand him. I understand. I don't hold it against him. At that time, he felt. That's what he felt. That's what he felt, and it was affecting his ability to work.
Right.
Because he didn't want to be there. He was seeing prophecies and all this shit, and so
I think it's commendable, that he was able to be offered potential fortune and fame, and he was able to say, this isn't the path for me. I think that's a commendable quality for him. And I think it's cool too that you guys respected that was the path for him.